Matty Loading back. Given how conservative you guys were with him, you must be 100% confident that he's right to go.
Yeah, that's why we've made some pretty safe decisions in the first 3 weeks of the season. We know how important Lobes is to us, but we weren't going to take the risk because of being a long season. We just needed to make sure with the thigh that we got him right. Right now we sit here, we're pretty comfortable that he's right.
He puts so much pressure on the inside with his tackling and all of that. How important is that given you lose once?
Oh yeah, no, look, there's no doubt. I mean, a player of Lobes' ability is always important to you, and significantly that he plays in the ruck. Obviously, it allows us with Paddy to do some different stuff, but his follow-up pressure at ground level is elite, as you say, and he clears the path for some of them boys. And let's be honest, he plays 90 to 100% of games, and he's out there all the time, which allows a bit more rotation from somewhere else as well.
Do you think you've been missing that physicality, like right in the inside of the contest?
Oh, it's been there at times, but it hasn't been consistent. It hasn't been consistent enough. We've said that publicly, that our inside stuff in a couple of games, especially the Sydney game we were showed up in, but I think the Fremantle game we matched with a great side, and again last week strong performance. It was it's been okay, but it hasn't been elite.
How do you see the balance between him and Ryder now? Does it free up Ryder to spend a lot of time in the forward line?
Well, we hope so. That's exactly what we hope, or for Lobes to spend time in the forward line, which then puts significant pressure on opposition defences, because they are those big bodies that you can actually kick to under a bit of pressure and try and lock the ball in your forward half, which every side tries to do. So that helps us do that a little bit. So we're a bit like everyone. We're trialling a little bit and seeing what it's going to look like, because we haven't had the chance together. There was interruptions in the pre-season with Paddy, and then we get to the start where we think they've got them both, and then Lobes gets the injury. So we're about to find out.
I guess Aaron Young, he does a bit, doesn't he, inside and outside? So he's kind of filling in for Lyons in a sense. Oh,
look, it's no doubt. Young is a really talented player in his own right, and he's just been held out of the midfielder quite a bit because of a player like Ollie and the other midfielders that are in there. But when there's an opportunity free up, it's a great opportunity for Youngie to step up and take that spot if he wants.
Just on Hawthorn, they still the benchmark?
Yep. Yeah, I don't think there's too much doubt about that. I think not much has changed in the first 3 or 4 weeks. I think Freo, Sydney, Hawthorn, they're pretty talented sides. Geelong haven't probably played as well as they'd like. We've played against some elite sides in the competition, and the Kangaroos the same. So you go, well, the competition's still what it was last year, and it tends to be like that, I reckon, at the start of the next season a little bit, and then you've still got to be careful not to get too carried away with what happens in the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season, because you're just not sure what the draw does, what the form of the opposition are like, and let the season settle itself down. 8 to 12, rounds 8 to 12, somewhere in that I reckon you start to get an idea of where things are at.
If boys still fresh, Ken, you've had some very tough games, another one to come. Are they feeling the pinch at all?
No, they shouldn't be. I mean, we've prepared them all summer to play 22 rounds of football plus whatever, and so no, they shouldn't be. But the competition we've played against, look, there's no doubt that's put some significant pressure on us as a team and as a club. But we welcome that. That's again, I've said a couple of times, it gets you ready, it hardens you up, and allows you to play the football you need to play week in, week out, because that's what AFL football's about. Sometimes some of the tests are a bit harder than others, and we've had a couple of them at the start.
Where's your confidence level for this match then? Obviously you said that they're the benchmark, but you must be believing at home.
Oh yeah, no, you'll never get me turn up here and not think that we can't win this game of football. We'll play our absolute best football again, and our best football is good enough to beat anyone. We look forward to the challenge. We know that all we say about it is they're the benchmark. We recognise what they've been able to do, but we're looking forward to taking them on and trying to beat them.
Kane comes back. He's never been used to sort of missing too many games. What's his form like at training? Is he sort of a bit more intense?
He's pretty fresh. He's pretty fresh. So that again, one of those decisions that the good part about that is we bring Lobes and Kane both in reasonably fresh, which is gives a bit of a spark to the side. That helps us. Kane's a massive runner. We know that. We're going to need a few of them out there tomorrow night, as Hawthorn will. So we look forward to. He's been fine. He's looking forward to the game.
How do you work it against their midfield? Because they've got a couple of really good midfielders. You can't tag everybody.
You've got more than a couple, unfortunately.
Yeah, and you're not a tagging type coach really either, are you?
I know we like Kane to play a role. There's no doubt about that. I think you're foolish if you don't think you need to have someone that to take care of a player every now and then. And Kane certainly provides us with that opportunity. Their midfield's deep. If you look at their midfield, I went and watched them in Tassie last week. There's probably in their side. There's probably 3 players that don't play through the midfield.
Yeah.
Lake, Gibson and Stratton. I reckon they're about the 3 players that don't go through the midfield. If you look at every other player on that side, even Birchall goes up onto a wing, Burgoyne goes into the middle, Ruffy goes into the middle, Pulopolo goes into the middle, Lewis starts on a wing, Smith's in the forward line. They go everywhere, but we like to be able to do similar sort of stuff. They're the challenges you face every week, but Hawthorn have got great flexibility at the moment.
But you have to be really sharp then on match day and actually pick up early the red flags, as in this guy's really hurting us.
I suppose that's the art of what we have to do as coaches. We have to be able to decide what numbers are hurting, what numbers are not hurting us, and what we need to take care of. And then we've got to provide our challenges to the opposition too. We'll challenge Clarko and his team hopefully at some point during the game that they're worried about some of our players.
Would Morey have played in the team, Ken, if he had not been suspended?
Probably not. But I mean that's easy to say now. But Youngie's probably had first opportunity. Arch was unlucky in his small period of time he played, so I would have thought Arch would have got the opportunity to play. So look, Morey would have been in the mix, there's no doubt about that.
It's a significant day playing Anzac Day. How do you guard against that becoming a distraction, or do you reference that in pre-game?
Yeah, no, it's certainly not a distraction. It's a great honour for our footy club to be able to be involved in such a day that means so much to our country. So we're really proud of the fact that we get to go out and play football to try and represent some very small part of what the Anzac spirit really is about. And we're quite proud of the fact that we're involved in this game. We want to put on a good performance, and we want to put on a good show for everyone that's involved in the day. And we're one of the lucky clubs that get to compete. And that's really important to us.
Do you treat the game as a normal game, or do you reference Anzac Day in your?
Oh no, I think we all make some sort of reference back to what we're playing and what the day means and the significance of the day and what we're out there trying to represent. So it's a bit like, well, we want to be up for the battle, and we need to make sure that we do the day proud, and the players will certainly. I'm sure that you can't not spend the whole of tomorrow sitting around waiting to play football and not get touched by the Anzac Day stuff. So it's just natural.
Were you happy enough with what you saw from Archie last week?
Yeah, I was really happy. I've been really happy with Archer's whole pre-season, and I've said it before publicly. Archer's come from nowhere. It just goes to show that you've got to hang in with some people, and if they've had a bad run with their body, their injuries, and they've lost a bit of confidence, just give them some time and some chances. If they've got some stuff that you like, that eventually they're going to be able to put that out on the table for you, and he's done a great job.
So he gets that taste of AFL footy. Do you expect his development to sort of ramp up a bit quickly as well?
I think you'll find that Archer's probably not dissimilar to Benny Newton last year. Now, Benny's not with us. Now, Benny went looking for opportunities, and we totally understood that. That they should be really, really strong sample players for the Magpies, and when their opportunities come, that they're prepared and ready to play AFL football. Most people take a little while to get their careers up and going, and sometimes it's an in and out type scenario. So that's exactly what faces Arch. It's faced Youngie, it's faced Morey, those sort of players, those blokes who have always just been on the edge. Young players getting to that first 50 plus games is where you need to get to before you start to establish yourself, I think.
And so like Youngie and Morey and Ben was last year, so it's about Arch just becoming a super consistent, great central player before he can start looking at regular.
He needs to be an elite Magpies player, there's no doubt. And we expect that. We expect that from all our players playing for the Magpies, that they come in and play typical Port football, and and then if they can stay really consistent and step up in that area, they get their best chance to play AFL football, and that's no different for any of our players.
Have you used the last time you played them as a bit of a...
When was that?
Might have been a final last year, I think.
Yeah, no, not.
Do you use it or not? Do you mention it?
No,
It doesn't have to be that.
Doesn't get you anywhere. I mean, it doesn't change a thing. It's still a bit not the thoughts you want to have. You don't want to go back and think about that. But we've had a whole pre-season. We've learnt from that game. There's no doubt, and that's the key thing for us in our finals performances last year, is that we make sure we learn from each of them. In the last one where you get your hardest lesson, you go back and you've got to be prepared to learn from it. And we spent a lot of summer working on stuff that we got out of the prelim final, and we got out of the semi-final, and we got out of the first final. So, and the rest of the year. But there's lots of things that we learn from. But you just don't go back. It's funny, football, everyone talks about, it's going to be motivation, or it's going to be this. It's going to be nothing to do with it once the ball bounces. It's going to be about a new game, and opposition. I think they've got 3 or 4 different players. We've got 3 or 4 different players, so it doesn't mean much. What did we learn from it? Oh, we learnt that, I said last year, at that time last year, we knew our best was right up there with the best teams in the competition, and they went on to win the premiership, and we were close enough. Were we flattered by the end? Maybe we were, but we did what Port do. We just kept coming, and that's what I love about our footy team. We hang in there, and we learnt that if we hang in there in the biggest games, if you just hang in there in the biggest games, you can actually get somewhere too. So,
Thanks all.
have a good day. Don't go outside; it's raining.